Hello and welcome back to the FPL show on the Premier Cheese channel. Before we start, if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, that helps out a lot. Anyway, let's get back into it. Right, Jack, welcome back to the FPL show. And without further ado,
Hi.
let's get into the leaderboard and the winners of the week. Jack, as you can see from the leaderboard, I am still last, but in a far better mood from having won this week.
Only just.
Only just 3 points between us.
Really do.
3 points between us.
I really don't know how I've gotten away with this because I remember checking it on Saturday and you were ahead of me on Saturday because I think you had those Wolves points on Saturday and I didn't have I only had Marcel, so you got the Jimenez points.
But yeah,
okay.
I guess I'll ask myself, Sam, run me through your team. And I go, oh, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. You're a brilliant host. But obviously, Jimenez is the entire reason I got anything. The 2 assists, the 2 bonus points, and obviously the captain that's finally paid off last 2 weeks. Captain Jimenez just paid off every single time for the last 2 weeks. So that's actually pretty decent. And obviously, other than that, not really anything. I think I'm relying heavily on Jimenez. Salah obviously got 11 points, but everyone else bar Tomiyasu is literally getting 3s, 2s, 1s. Jimenez I'm quite reliant on. I was quite decent that I captain. Obviously might have captained Salah. Salah would have got me 2 more points if I captained him instead. But I'm not obviously unhappy of having Jimenez as captain. Wolves' fixtures still look brilliant on the way in, so I still back Jimenez to keep scoring, keep assisting, creating goals, especially when he's got Hwang Hee-chan as his partner. So that's incredible. I don't know if you have anything to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was bound to happen at some point. If you keep him as captain forever, eventually he will score a goal. And
Yeah.
I think you've managed to get these points through attrition more than anything else. It's like saying, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day or something like that. You know.
Yeah, but those twice a day, it's happened 2 times in a row.
And there you go. From here on out, he's not going to do anything.
He's back. Jimenez of old is back. He's going to start scoring. He's got assisted. Traore is next. He's eventually going to start, and he's eventually going to get some more points for me. But yeah, I think...
You've done all right there. Apart from Salah in my team, I think I was mostly 2s and 1s. I think I had Marcel who got 3, Martinez who got 4, but just 3 save points. But yeah, mostly just 1s and 2s. It was a really disappointing week. I mean, Ronaldo didn't start, came on, and did nothing. Ben Rama didn't do much. I'm trying to think of players we both have. I think I have Rudiger who got 2. I Thiago Silva who got 2, or maybe 1. I can't really remember at this point. It was just a very underwhelming week for me, and I'm definitely taking Ismail Assar off my captain. I think he had his good week, and now he's kind of he's going back to being generally disappointing. So I'm transferring my captaincy back to Salah.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people who have taken Salah off captain will be bringing the captaincy back to Salah now that he scored an absolute wonder goal against Man City. People are going to think, oh well, you know, he's scoring goals now. He's probably going to carry on that, which therefore means against Watford in 2 weeks' time, Mane is going to score a hat-trick and Salah won't be involved at all.
Yeah, I think one of the other things is that I think with the Chelsea situation that they have such a good fixture run coming up, and Lukaku blanked in an easier game than he's had last few weeks, and also Alonso didn't play, so Alonso's now an issue that we don't know if he's starting in every game. Chilwell was playing that game, so we don't know if Alonso is a guarantee from this thing in. Is he going to start every game now, or is Alonso going to be back in next week other than Chilwell? So that's something to worry about, but we'll talk about that when we get into big earners of the week. Okay, Jack. Now I've done talking about my team and done how I've done well for once. Would you like to talk us through the big earners and who you think is a good asset for the future, and maybe we'll be able to continue these points hauls?
Okay, well, I'm going to do my best considering that it's very blurry on my screen.
I mean, we all have the app where you can also see it, Jack.
That is a very good point. I am going to open it on my phone. Statistics.
Round score.
Game week 7. There we go. So that's Llorente and Salah at the top.
And Hwang as well. And Hwang, the Korean prince, the best South Korean player in the Premier League.
Yes. I mean, he's not looking terrible. Only for only 5.5 million. Is he starting?
He's starting now. The issue with Wolves is that I don't understand. I don't know where. I know Jimenez is nailed on. I think Jimenez will start every game. But beyond that, Hwang should start because he's been obviously scoring goals. He's been really well with link-up play with Jimenez. But we have so many attackers, especially when you've got, say, Traore, Podence, Trincao, Hwang, Jimenez, Fabio Silva. That's 6-7 players. And if you include Pedro Neto as well, when Pedro Neto eventually comes back in January, there's a lot of options there, and I don't know who is guaranteed a start. Well, I think it's Jimenez, and I wouldn't necessarily put Hwang in unless we would consider it that his form was going to continue and that he was definitely guaranteed a start. But at this point, I'm sticking with Jimenez. I have Jimenez. He's a bit more expensive, but I think he's also still more guaranteed a start despite Hwang's goals.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at his last 2 games. When you beat Southampton, he played 89 minutes, and then in the Newcastle game, he played all 90. But before that, he had 45 against Brentford when you lost. And then he had 27 against Watford in game week 4, but I think that was like his first game. So I'm thinking, I think he will start the next game purely because, it would be very harsh to drop him after having scored 2 goals.
Yeah, but then there's just there's so many options that I don't go whether Traore starts or whether Trincao starts or whether they both start and then Hwang is rested. It's a nice problem to have for the manager, obviously, but not for FPL owners because we don't know who is guaranteed to start. I'm still sticking with Jimenez at this point because Jimenez is guaranteed to start. He's going to start every game. I'm very careful that I think Hwang still will, but I think Jimenez, even for the extra 2 million, is more guaranteed to start. And I think he'll be involved through the entire game, and I think he'll get more chances created in the end of the season than Hwang will. But we'll see on that. We'll update that in the next few weeks. What also I'll pay attention.
What are Hwang's? Sorry, before we go, what are Hwang's international plans? Not just in terms of what holiday is going on. In terms of, is he going to go play football for South Korea? And if so, will he be available for?
Oh, that's actually a good point. I assume he is going because he is a regular for South Korea, so he does tend to go every time. So that'll be interesting. Actually, we'll have to see about that. And obviously, they travel back huge amount of fixtures. We'll have to see. But that's what also that puts more.
Because obviously there's a lot of issues with players in South America, and I know that Martinez is going to South America again, which just seems like such a wasted journey because he can only play in home games. So I mean, unless I don't know Argentina's fixture list. If they are all home games, then he's laughing. But if he has to go to a different country in South America where they have strict COVID rules, why would he go? Or at least allow him to travel back early.
That'll be a lot for a lot of players on this list that we don't know. The ones that have to travel further afield, the ones that are just based in Europe, will be more likely to start come the end of the thing. But I assume the pressure of football is still early in the season. You would be able to tell that unless there was a bit of jet lag and etc. But decent budget options here. Obviously, De Bruyne, Salah still here. They're still making things. But yeah, let's go on to transfers in. Right, Jack, on to transfers in. And very obviously, we can see all the budget signings that are coming in. Townsend, Hwang, Decore, Rafinha. There's a lot of people there. There's usual people there as well. Salah being put in a lot, obviously continues to form. Lukaku still getting a lot of transfers in despite blanking. But obviously, that's still Chelsea's amazing running that they still have. And you assume Lukaku maybe doesn't form in big games, will big against these smaller teams that and hopefully will eventually start scoring because he is an incredible striker. So you hope that comes good eventually. A lot of people putting faith in Vardy, a lot of people putting faith in Son, Antonio, obviously as well. Azpilicueta, obviously leading into that Chelsea thing. Is there anyone that you would stay clear from here that have been transferred in heavily?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Maybe Vardy. I
Vardy,
mean,
Bez?
because I mean, he's not cheap, and Leicester have been proper dodgy this. I mean, Vardy has kind of been Leicester's only positive this season, really. But the problem is, at 10.4 million, that's a lot of your budget that you are staking on Vardy, and I don't think he's
Every other game
I
he gets.
don't think
Every other game
I
he
don't
gets a
think
point
he's worth
haul.
that.
Yeah, that's fair. Every
Yeah.
every other game he gets a point haul. I think the last 3 games he's gotten contributions in every single one. 8 points, 11, and 8 points. So I think there is solidity there. Their fixtures don't look amazing. I think if you have, I think the issue with Leicester has been defending, not necessarily attacking. I think attacking they've been fine. It's just been letting go. I think that Crystal Palace game was really evident that they continue to not be able, they continue to score without actually able to without actually defend their chances. Obviously, they end up drawing 2-2.
Yeah.
And then their fixtures coming up. I
And
believe Man United.
I don't think they win any of those 3 fixtures that they've got coming up. I think Man United at home, they don't win. Because I mean, both United and Leicester are both on dodgy form. I think that's a draw. I don't think they beat Brentford. Definitely not. Brentford are looking very good, and Arsenal are in the middle of their resurgence. I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't bet on Leicester against Arsenal right now. Anyway.
I still think Arsenal are crap, so I think that's actually probably the easiest game they have there, maybe other than Leeds. But I still think with Chelsea, Brentford, and Man United having those fixtures in the next 5 aren't great fixtures to necessarily have. But then again, I don't really think there's an issue with Leicester scoring capabilities with their defensive capabilities. So if you're putting in a striker like Vardy, he will still score goals, and he has been the entire season, even though they are struggling as a team. Other than that, do you see anyone else on this list that you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know if we actually mentioned it whilst we were recording. I think we kind of mentioned it in the transition. Your man Hwang is
Hwang.
He's rather popular right now.
I still
120,000 bringing him in. That is a fair few. And your fixtures aren't terrible.
No, we got really good fixtures. They're really good fixtures. Going like Villa, Leeds, Everton, Palace. I think the in-game rating difficulty ratio is 3-3-3, but it's not. I don't think it is that relevant because obviously I think with Aston Villa, Leeds, and Everton, they're all gettable. We can score against them. They're not exceptional teams. I think Everton have done really well this season. I think Villa have. Leeds are obviously not great, but I think they're all teams you can score against. The issue for me with Hwang is that whether he will continue to score with so many options in the winger department and Jimenez almost guaranteed a start, especially with the creative numbers he was bringing up in the last game. I think it's a flip of the coin wherever he starts. I think he'll be hard done by not to start, but with the options we have, you can easily take him out for someone else.
I mean, it breaks my heart to say as a Villa fan, but I think that Villa game is definitely winnable. I mean, it's at home for Villa, which should give us a nice advantage.
But I think it's winnable for both sides.
We've been getting very cushy crowds in recently.
I think it's winnable for both sides. I think they can easily. It depends who turns up on the day. I think it'll be actually a really decent game to watch.
There are some games where we've been fantastic, and there are some games where we've been absolutely crap. So it really depends on which Villa turns up for that one.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into transfers out. Into transfers in. And obviously Ronaldo continues to blank a few times. He obviously, I think I predicted this earlier. I didn't think he was going to start every game, and it clearly shows that he's going to be rested for some games. Obviously Everton and winning that, he did come on. It didn't almost had a chance. I think it was a wayward one from a Sancho through ball that sort of went for, or a little through ball, but one that sort of went across goal. I think it's obviously a nice trade. I think obviously we saw Lukaku was in the transfers in. I think those are being directly swapped because obviously Lukaku has a good run in despite not scoring last week. I think that we now know that Ronaldo isn't going to start every game. He's not worth as an asset, especially at 12.5 million. It's not worth it for someone who surprisingly will not start some games. I don't know what you have to say about this.
It's quite funny, really. I think. I mean, I'm sure it was only a few weeks ago where we were talking about the Manchester United. People were bringing United players in. Loads of them. The the Ronaldo game, the Ronaldo transfers in a week where there were just hundreds of thousands of people who were bringing him in, and now I mean, like you've been saying it for weeks, Sam. FPL players are very reactive, and it'll only take one thing. Ronaldo not starting one game, and suddenly 143,000 players have taken him out. And because United are on dodgy form, if you look at that list, there's 4 other Man United players there, which is absolutely amazing, really. Fernandes, 56,000. Shaw, 62,000. Greenwood, 91,000. Pogba, 96,000. It's just
well, you can give
don't have faith in them.
I think you can not have faith, but also with the Man United players, a lot of them are very expensive for what positions they play, and you don't want to keep a player in the team and like all of those Man United players have a decent reason for you taking them out of the team. Ronaldo, not guaranteed to start every game, is going to be rested sometimes. You don't want £13 million worth of player not playing. That's such a waste of money, a waste of asset. Pogba, the creativity out of the start of the season, gone off, has waned. He's still picking up some things, but not to the extent that people were expecting before. Greenwood, not guaranteed a start. Sure, they keep conceding 1 or 2 goals. They do not keep clean sheets. They always concede at least 1. And then Fernandes obviously is not on pens anymore. So that's the issue, or at least when Ronaldo's starting, he won't be on pens.
I watched that. I watched that game, the United Everton game. I watched it, I think, in its entirety, and it was amazing, really, how just not involved Fernandes was in Man United attacks. He was kind of, if United had the ball in the centre of the park, he was kind of trying to find spaces like out wide, but no one was finding him. And especially when Ronaldo came on, that was like even more so, because I think I had a bet where I needed him to score. Yeah, I needed him to have a shot on target. It was the Sky Bet boost of the day, I think, where they have players have a shot on target, which becomes evens. And yeah, he just wasn't involved at all, and it was a bit mad, really, because normally he's a very attacking-minded player. He likes to have a run, he likes to have a go, but a lot of his interactions were very limited to like little flicked through balls, little glancing passes, and he wasn't as involved in play as he normally is. And I think when you have a player as just creatively proficient as Bruno Fernandes, then it is a waste to keep a player like him locked up and not involved in the game. And I think that was a big reason why United didn't really do much. Was because one of their best players was kind of essentially just kept in a cage all game.
Yes, well said. Just before we end, do you have anything to say about any other of the Man United players? Not any other people apart from the Man United players, sorry.
Well, you did say about Alonso, didn't you? And he's in there, considering Chelsea have quite a nice... I'm surprised Lukaku's there, because he will start all 3 of those games, and he probably will score for some of them. I mean, Norwich at home, that's going to be an absolute goal fest for Chelsea. That's going to be a game where you're really going to want Lukaku in. And in fact, I'm rather tempted myself to do at some point to do a straight swap Ronaldo for Lukaku.
Well, you can see with Lukaku anyway, it's transfers out 35,000, at least on my screen when I screenshotted this, but also 73,000 in. So he has been transferred in more than he's transferred out. And again, the 54,000 out is reactionary.
I was going to say, I'm looking at it live, and there's 78,000 that have brought him in, but 60,000 that have brought him out, and that does put him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. The 8th most transferred out player, which is a bit mad, really.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And please look at the other content. We've got some great stuff coming up. Please leave a like and subscribe. All the good stuff. And see you later. Bye.